Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangus, and I just want to ask you one question. How often do you get to see a naval battle between Drake and Sensei? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's a very unorthodox matchup, but it's one we're going to be seeing today. I know I uploaded a replay yesterday, but I just finished this game, and I had so much fun with it, I had to make a video about it right away. Because this features one of my favorite maps of all time, Gloomforged. It's the best map on the ladder. I hope they never remove it. I've been hoping to get queued up on this map again. I only got to play it once on the ladder, and I was matched up against JTQN, like that crazy guy with multiple personality disorder. If you know him, you know him. He's super good. He talks about himself in third person. He has a million alt accounts. He just kind of stomped me, and I never really got to enjoy this map. But this time around, I came a little bit more prepared. I did some research on this particular map. This is a tricky map to play on, because as I said, it's a map that incentivizes naval combat. You have this island in the center here. There are airports, but they're far out of the way. They take a while to reach, so you kind of have to build black boats to reach the center, and it becomes an intense battle over this island. Like, these properties are worth a lot. Keep in mind, this is a high funds map, which means 2k income per property. So on this island, there are basically 12k worth of income, so whoever can take over the island will get a huge advantage. And what it devolves into is just massive shoal control here. You have to kind of block the enemy from using landers and black boats to ferry units out. You need landers because at some point battlecopters and bombers are going to enter the fray, and you need anti-air on the island to hold it. But you can also see things like cruisers and carriers and submarines and battleships. This map is wild, and I absolutely love it. So, when I saw that I was queued up in a tier 1 high funds match, and let me just bring up the tier list here in case you don't know what it looks like. The choices you have in tier 1 are Eagle, Hawk, Olaf, and Sensei. All very strong COs in high funds. But I was like, but what if I pick Drake though? Like, he's a tier lower, but it's a naval map, and I think we all know that whenever Drake gets played on a naval map, he kind of bumps himself up a tier. Of course, that's something you almost never see because there are really no naval maps on the ladder, aside from Gloomforged. So, I knew I was going to go up against a tough CO. I was kind of dreading Drake because, you know, he can kind of pop his Black Storm to negate some of the damage done by Drake's global damage. But I was like, hell, I want to try Drake on this map because it's so naval focused. But of course, I went up against Sensei instead, which surprised me a little bit because I don't think Sensei is necessarily super strong on this map. I mean, there are airports, so you will get to use battlecopters. But Sensei's still pretty strong in tier 1. I mean, he still spawns a million mechs and infantry, which is really tough to deal with. But I'm a global damage CO. And you know what global damage excels at? High unit count. Sensei is going to very quickly reach like 50 to 60 units on this map, which means that my Typhoon will wreak havoc. Not only that, you cannot underestimate the fuel drain on a map like this, where you have bombers around, submarines, battleships, black boats, landers. That fuel drain becomes dangerous. A lot of people sleep on it, I feel, but it is actually a hazard when your bombers suddenly have 15 fuel and you don't have a black boat or APC in range to refuel them. So more than that, I just think Drake is fantastic on this map because, again, his ships just don't die. In case you don't know, Drake is like one of the few COs that are not cartridge accurate on Advanced Wars by Web. They just straight up buffed his naval units on the website. They usually just have +10, but on Advanced Wars by Web they have 25. So his boats just never die. You stick his battleship on a harbor, bombers ain't gonna scratch that thing because it's gonna have 55% defense. So it's actually pretty ridiculous. Like, Drake is stupidly good at naval combat, and of course he does have that +1 movement, which is incredibly nice. So, very unorthodox matchup in this particular video. I hope you guys will enjoy it. It's going to be an absolutely chaotic match. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I say we just jump into it. So, I'm up against an opponent named Marcus. Not like super high rated or anything. He's about as highly rated as me, so not like a Grandmaster tier matchup right here, but you know, still a very entertaining match. Sometimes you don't need to go that high on the rating scale to find entertaining matchups. So both players just gonna open up, capturing their neutral properties. You want to go for this harbor here really early, because you want to get both of those harbors working. You want to build a lot of black boats on this map. a lot of black boats, actually. And the capture phase is actually pretty complicated because there's a lot of things to do. And you actually kind of want to open up an APC, which is what I think a lot of both of us are going to do here. Marky's already opening up a black boat. Sensei really good on this map in terms of transports because he does get that +1 movement to black boats that Drake also gets. Normally, I think other black boats do not reach this island in one turn, but Sensei and Drake does. So I think that's partly why my opponent decided to go with Sensei on this map. And one thing that I forgot to mention. But of course, Drake gets that bonus too because all of his ships are faster. So both of us can reach the island on turn 1. I'd say that it's actually a big disadvantage to not reach the island on turn 1. I remember when I played against JGTQN or whatever his name was. I don't remember exactly what the matchup was, but I don't think I had a CO that got +1 movement. You can also use the black boat to boosts, but in this case, Marky's just gonna go to the island right away. So he's just gonna grab it, and the initiative advantage is actually pretty nice for him, but I'm also gonna be able to do the same thing, and he's not in range to attack me. So already we're fighting over the island. I'm opening up an APC. I think he's going to do the same thing. APC is really nice because you want to try and get an infantry over here as quickly as possible. But you can see my opponent is doing a bit of a cheeky strat here. He's actually sending his infantry towards my harbor. And I think you might know what he intends to do with it. Nice little boost on the black boat there. Love to see it. So yeah, he starts capturing my harbor. And I realize, oh, I can't interrupt this. And I'm like, is he really going to? Is he really going to try it? Like, I was like, I like it. It's cheesy. But I don't know if he's gonna invest that much money into it. So, but yeah, I build another black boat. 2 black boats out already. The first of many. And a lander immediately. Again, you kind of want to go lander immediately because you need to get anti-air and vehicles out on this island. You can't forsake this island. Especially not when playing against Sensei. He's going to get so many infantry from it, So my opponent finishes capturing the island, uses his APC to transport units out to the side. Comm towers are available on this map, 2 of them per player, so we're going to have a baseline 20% firepower boost, which I actually like against Sensei. I think that that benefits me more than him. Marky now sends another infantry out, builds a lander of his own. The lander sadly cannot reach the island in one turn, so you need to send it up. I actually don't know why he built it here, but I guess it doesn't really matter because he can't reach the island in one turn anyway. So here I'm like, okay, he's captured my harbor. What is he going to try and do? Here I kind of failed to unload both of my infantry, but luckily on Advanced Source by Web, loading doesn't cost a turn, so you can load and then move, or unload and then move. Here I'm already like threatening to take over the shoals, so he needs to be very careful here. If he moves away with this black boat and he doesn't occupy any of these shoals, I can send my black boat down here and like block the shoal completely, leaving these 2 options as the only way for him to get on the island. This is what happened when I played my first map on this match on this map, is JTQN just kind of blocked all the shoals and he just took over the island. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't see that. So, but yeah, I'm building my first tank now, getting an artillery out because I'm sensing what's coming here. Like, why else would he rush from my harbor? So I'm like, okay, what is he doing here? He has 30k in the bank. And what does he do? Boom. I built a battleship. Now again, I think this battleship has the wrong range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Again, replay viewer is weird. It shows battleship with +1 range. I'm not entirely sure why. It doesn't lock my base down, guys. Luckily. But yeah. I was like, wait, actually, do they have? I should know this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They should have the same range as rockets. Rockets at 5. So no, this is wrong. This is just an inaccuracy with the replay viewer. But I'm like, okay. Luckily, I built an artillery, so I can try to threaten the battleship at least. But this is actually a little bit annoying for me, and he's also using his APC to block me from getting this harbor. The next time I play this map, I think I'm actually going to try what Mark is doing here. I'm going to play Drake, if I am player 1, and I'm going to try and rush this harbor, because imagine if this was a Drake battleship. Imagine if this was a Drake battleship. It would never die. Of course, it needs to be said that Sensei has minus 10% firepower on his naval units, which is significant when going up against Drake. Like, that is a big handicap, combined with my 25% defense. It means that his subs almost doesn't deal damage to my, it means that his cruisers don't really do that much to my subs. Like, I can actually attack his cruiser with submarines if it's slightly damaged, which it often will be with global damage. So I realize that I need this tank over here on this island, but I bump it off here first just to scare him a little bit, because it takes me 2 turns to reach it anyway, and I kind of want to unload it over here, so. But yeah, I move the artillery onto the city so that if he takes a shot at it, then it'll heal up a little bit, and I think I'm going to go another artillery. I also go a submarine because, damn it, I need to get this battleship out of this port. So already we're seeing submarines enter the stage on day 8, which should just tell you how amazing this map is. And now I am kind of winning the infantry battle over here, though. He hasn't sent any more infantry to this island. He needs to build more black boats and get them over here, because right now I am outnumbering him. Of course, Sensei infantry, very scary with their 40% extra firepower, but that doesn't matter when they're outnumbered 2-1, so I'm just kind of winning the numbers game here. However, he is doing good on the capture wars. He is focusing a lot more on the side with his units, so it might be that me going for this middle island is going to hurt me. Now here, he decides to actually... he places the battleship in range of my artillery. I think he doesn't think that I will go for this since I'll base lock myself, but I will gladly base lock myself to do like 4 HP of damage per battleship. That's considered worth it in my opinion. And he immediately builds a cruiser. Now, again, cruisers against, or Sensei cruisers against Drake subs, they still do damage to them, like, don't get me wrong, like, it still hurts, but it's not as bad. You will survive, like, you won't narrowly get one shot. I think they'll bring the sub down to, like, 4 HP. But here, I move the lander over, and I gladly take that shot. Like, I don't know why he thought I wouldn't do this. Like, of course I'm gonna take the shot. Like, it's 4 HP off a battleship, that's a lot of money. So I'm happy to do that. I dive my sub. And I now decide that I want to try and go for some of these properties right here. And now I also place the artillery here. I don't think he should have moved the battleship, honestly. He should have just kept it there. It's a bit of a blunder from him. I think he wanted to try and use it to fight the island, because he's losing the island right now, and that's actually pretty bad for him. And look, I'm just continually transporting more units down into the center. The center is so important. I build my first battleship. And I start to go for the comm tower. So here he moves out. He tries to locate my submarine. He places a little wall between his battleship. He wants to try and keep shooting with that, which is fine. There we go. And yeah, just moving his infantry. He's doing well on the sides, but he's losing the center. He builds another battleship, ladies and gentlemen. He builds another battleship. So 2 battleships coming out already, and he's shooting on my tank. You can see, though, Sensei battleships, not great. Not great. So they don't do a lot of damage. But day 10 rolls in. I now go for the comm towers, so I need that firepower. And, you know, I base lock myself again to shoot with the artillery. Because I'm like, okay, you know, I don't mind paying 2 units for a battleship. I think that's completely fine. Like, there's enough things going on here. I one-shot his lander because you can do that with a comm tower. Without a comm tower, it would be a lock roll, but with a comm tower, you do it 100%. So he's already lost his lander, which is not great for him. I decide to do some joint capping in the center here, and I start shooting on his battleship. So he tried a very cheesy opening with me, but I don't really think it paid off all that well. But I'm still up against Sensei here, so which means I'm going to face a million infantry, so I do have to be careful here. I decide to go a Neo tank on the right-hand side. And here I realize I kind of have to do something about this battleship right here. So here he scouts up my submarine, and you can see it still hurts. It still hurts. He still brings it down to 3 HP. So that submarine is kind of useless right now, but yeah, so not great by me. I probably should have positioned my battleship in such a... Should have put my battleship here, honestly, because then I could have guarded the sub from the cruiser. So a little bit of a blunder for me. Well played by him. He picks off the submarine. That's a big victory for him. So, but here he advances up on the sides with an artillery, and he pops his airborne assaults. This is probably the first time I've seen a Sensei player do this, and I don't like it. I think he should have just popped his copter command, honestly. Mechs are great in the mid to late game, but in the early game, what he needs are infantry. And that's a very expensive power to pop. And yeah, sure, it gives him some mechs, which is nice, but it's not what he needed in this situation, to be honest. I like the little repair he does with the black bow, but yeah. These mechs are not great. Like, they're going to take a long time to reach the front lines. What he really needs now are black boats, which you can see he is building black boats now. But, so he has a unit count of 32 and a lot of mechs, but my global damage is about to come in, and I think I can get it this turn if I take the proper engagements. Actually, I don't remember if I'm going to get it this turn. move my anti-air and an artillery into my lander, kill his battleship, and I start repairing up my submarine. The addition of black boats made naval combat so much more fun, in my opinion, because in Advanced Wars 2, you couldn't really do anything about it. Like, you couldn't, like, once your submarine started running out of fuel, you kind of had to pull them back to an APC or a harbor, which is kind of annoying. So, I'm very glad that they added black boats. It made it just so much more fun to do naval combat, because you can actually repair up your subs, refuel them, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm reinforcing my hold on the center island right now, building another Neo-Tank to try and... because Neo-Tanks can actually kill black boats. So the artillery plus the Neo-Tank will kill it. Of course, he's probably going to move away. Finally, he goes for his airport. I think he should have gone for his airport much sooner, because those Sensei battlecopters are what's going to equalize this playing field right here. He's bringing in a submarine. This is bringing in a submarine. This is going to be great. There we go. And taking some shots on my anti-air. Trying to kill my anti-air now because he want to get some battlecopters over on the center island. So I was a little bit sad about that, but he doesn't kill it, luckily. More artillery coming in. He's kind of marching up on the right-hand side here, and this is kind of scary because I can't really do anything about this artillery. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Typhoon comes in, and it's glorious. Look at that. Look at all that damage. Look at the fuel drain. And the Neo-Tank takes out the cruiser that he built, and now the harbor is back in my control. And I'm going for the island again, cleaning up all of his units. There we go. His battleship is out. So this was a pretty devastating turn. I placed my Neo-Tank on the city right here. And suddenly it looks like the battle is swaying back into my favor. Still though, I am up against Sensei. He has his power again. His power is just so ridiculously cheap. So he's probably going to... yeah, this is a smart move by him. Using the cruiser to block my Neo-Tank. When I saw this, I was like, oh, that's so annoying. I gotta be more careful. And I'm placing my Neo-Tank on the city to just guard him. But of course, he has so many infantry, he can just march on and doing a good job just taking as many engagements as possible. Sensei's still very scary. You still shouldn't underestimate him. And you can see he's doing the smart thing, which is just building a bunch of artillery. Sensei wants a lot of indirects. And of course, here comes the copter command. Boom! Up to 42 units. I mean, this is just disgusting. And he can just keep doing that. It's high funds. He can do that every turn if he wants to. Like, it's so easy to generate those 2 stars for the power. But of course, the more units on the field, the better global damage becomes, so he better try to make something happen with this. He is losing the Central Island though, but we are still tied on income. So, day 13 rolls in, and at this point the match is starting to get a little ridiculous. I'm attacking his cruiser, and here I'm just kind of healing up my units. I want to heal up this anti-air. This anti-air is valuable because battlecopters are going to start coming out, and it needs to heal up. I build a cruiser, and I start refueling my guys. I take down one of his black boats. This is why subs are so valuable on this map, because they can kill black boats. And you need to kill the opponent's black boats, because they are so integral to this matchup. But there's a swarm coming towards me, as you can see. A big Sensei swarm. And I don't really know if I can stop this tide. Like, this cruiser move was brilliant. It slowed down my Neo-Tank for 2 turns, which I really want this Neo-Tank down there. But he's starting to capture now, and he's starting to get an income advantage. He gets a nice little... look at that, 8 HP submarine against the battleship. Look at that. 3 HP of damage. Oh, Drake is disgusting in naval battles, but this is what makes him so much fun to play on maps like this. But I'm kind of getting overrun on the right-hand side right here. He now has a battleship as well, as you can see. So this battleship is going to become bothersome very soon. I need to get myself a submarine. So he's moving in. It's like a big mosquito swarm coming in on both sides right here. And he pops copter command again. Again, you can do this literally every single turn if you want to. Like, there's nothing stopping you. I think the unit limit on this map is 60 or 70, so he can just keep spamming infantry. I mean, this is... Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at how many units. 52 units. Like, it really feels like I'm just swatting mosquitoes away. Luckily, I get a submarine, which is nice. It's a big pickup for me, generates a lot of power. I keep repairing my own submarines, and now it's back to full health, which allows me to, boom, one-shot his lander. So, I am really crippling his transport units. Like, this is why you don't want to let Drake establish naval superiority on a map like this. Yeah, like, my opponent cannot transport. Like, he just loses his black boats and landers the moment he builds them, which puts him at a huge disadvantage because, of course, Sensei do like transport units. He wants to have a ton of black boats to ferry his mechs around with. And I build yet another black boat and yet another submarine. So I pretty much have complete naval dominance on this map. But I'm still up against an absolute swarm of infantry. Now, like, never count Sensei out. Like, it's so, again, I think he's, if I remember correctly, he's going to get airborne, like, he's going to get Copter Command again this turn, because all he needs to do is just take a bunch of engagements. Yeah, he's already up to 1 star. He just continues to surround my Neo-Tank over on the right-hand side right here. But the Neo-Tank is probably not going to die. Like, it's going to stick on this allied city and just continue to heal up. But he's charging up pretty hard on this side right now, and he does have his airport at long last, so he can start building battlecopters. Took him long enough. If he captured that airport like 5... Oh, never mind. He just goes a bomber. So that's not a bad buy either, but it's easy for me to counter this with, like, cruisers and anti-air. I think I would have preferred a battlecopter instead. And now he's desperately trying to protect his his black boat, because he realizes that he needs black boats. He also builds a rocket. I like this as Sensei. I think rockets are pretty integral. Like, you have so many infantry to hide it behind. But of course, look at the damage I'm about to deal to him. Ooh. Let's watch that again. Let's watch that again. Oh, that is rough. Oh my goodness. And look, I'm just healing up my submarine. Building another battle. This battleship's not gonna die. Using my lander to transport fresh vehicles to the front lines. And even though Sensei literally has 1 million troops, the global damage is really starting to affect him right now. And it doesn't really matter if you have like 60, 70 units when all of them are damaged and running out of fuel. Look at that, his mechs are running out of fuel. His mechs have 14 and fuel left. Because mechs actually don't start with that much fuel. They actually start with far less fuel than infantry. So, not something you really think about. Yeah, bomber against Drake Blackboat, not gonna happen. Even with 2 comm towers, it's not a one-shot. And look, his cruiser is struggling to kill my submarine. Of course, he does do a number on my Neo-Tank here with his mechs. But the global damage is just really starting to add up for him right now. Look how many. This is why you don't play Sensei in live games. This is not live, by the way, but if you did, it's very problematic. But he's still ahead of me in income and unit count. And he's about to get another Copter Command as well. But I'm going to retreat with my submarine right here and just start... Like, at this point, I'm starting to just clean up his infantry on the left side. And I retreat a little bit with my submarine. And it becomes so easy for me to pick off his units right now, because they're all literally wounded. Another anti-air coming in. Bunch of anti-air, because I realize he's just going to spam bombers now, so I need anti-air and cruisers. I even moved this anti-air away so I can heal it up. Remember, this anti-air went down to 1 HP. So it's very nice to see that it's healed up now. But looks like he might pop another airborne assault. I think that's what he's going for here, because he's very close to getting it. Or he might just be moving off his properties to make way for his infantry. So let's see what he does now. He does find my submarine, but he doesn't have a cruiser in range to attack it, thanks to my extra movement. He didn't actually pop his Copter Command this turn, which I thought was kind of weird. But at this point, like, my submarine is starting to go for his battleships down here. He has a cruiser, which I'm threatening to kill very soon. And also, I found a nice little opening right here. Battleship kills this. Anti-air goes down here. Tank takes down his rocket. And that's devastating, because that rocket is kind of his lifeline. He needs to keep his indirects alive. But yeah, I continue to repair up my submarine and send it down here. Again, these submarines are so annoying. And again, because I have these landers that can transport my units around, I have a lot of mobility. And even taking a bit of a shot at his other rockets. So, yeah, at this point, Sensei is really starting to crumble. I don't really know why he didn't pop his power last turn. He may have been a little bit demoralized. Maybe he didn't want to get typhooned, but at this point, he really just should pop it. So I think he's just moving off cities. I don't know if he's going to go airborne assault. My Neo-Tank falls. Yeah, there we go. Airborne assault comes in. Brrrram. again, down to up to 46 mechs, or 46 units. And just like that, he's suddenly posting a Trent on the left side again. But my Typhoon is almost ready again, guys. And look at his units. Look at how many damage units he has and how much low fuel units he has. And this matchup is just complete chaos. I don't even know how to commentate this shit. Like, there's just so many units on each side. like rockets here, 3 bombers here. He's got cruisers. This matchup was completely wild. I absolutely loved it. Like, I've never had this much fun playing Advanced Wars. So he tries to kill my Black Boat. Cruisers can attack Black Boat, in case you didn't know. So day 18 rolls in. Let's watch another amazing Typhoon. Oh! And I've trapped his Black Boat with my cruiser. Use my sub to take down his battleship. Oh, I'm just cruising right now. This is so much fun. This global damage, man. It's never felt more satisfying. I used my battleship to take out his rocket. This island is like completely covered in anti-air. There's no way he's getting it. There's absolutely no way he's getting it. And now my subs are coming down. I'm even repairing them a little bit. Again, these 2 subs have been absolute MVPs. They've been running around hunting naval units all game. And thanks to the Black Boats, I can just keep them going indefinitely. And it's my opponent's turn again, and at this point, I am starting to get an income advantage, and I'm starting to clean him up on the right side, but he still has a very scary force on the left side. But look at his bombers. They're running very low in fuel. His units are running very low in HP. And it's just, yeah, it's not possible. It's just not possible. Like he's gonna die. So a bit of a silly matchup. I just wanted to show this game to you because I thought it was funny. I think Sensei doesn't have a good matchup on this map. I think there are definitely things that my opponent could have done. I think that he could have gone for the airport earlier. I think popping the first airborne assault was a mistake. Just not a good idea. Because, like, you want infantry in the early game, not mechs. So, I think my opponent did a lot of glaring mistakes. He lost the battle over the central island. But at the end of the day, I just think Sensei can really not stand up to Drake in a naval battle. It's just not possible. Still a lot of fun, though. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to show you this silly little game. I promise I'll be back to casting real matches real soon. See ya.